Jonah and the Grampus by Marriot Edgar, 1880 to 1951. Notice this word Grampus is actually quite an unusual word, meaning a whale in this case. I'll tell you the story of Jonah, a really remarkable tale. A peaceful and humdrum existence he had, until one day he went for a sail. The weather were grand when they started, but later at turn of the tide, the wind started blowing, the water got rough, and Jonah felt funny inside. When the ship started pitching and tossing, he tried hard his feelings to smother, and at last he just leant his head over the side, and one thing seemed to bring up another. When the sailors saw what he were doing, it gave them a bit of a jar. They didn't mind trippers enjoying their selves, but they thought this here were going too far. Said one, "Is there nowt you can think on to stop you from feeling so bad?" And Jonah said, "Aye, lift me over the side and chuck me in, there's a good lad." The sailor were not one to argue. He said, "Happen you know what's the best." Then he picked Jonah up by the seat of his pants and chucked him in as per request. And Grampus came up at that moment, and seeing the old man hard set, it swam to his side, and it opened its mouth and said, "Come in, lad, out of the wet." Its manner were kindly and pleading, as if to say RSVP. Said Jonah, "I've eaten a kipper or two, but I never thought one would eat me." The inside of Grampus surprised him. 'Twere the first time he'd been behind scenes. He found accommodation quite ample for one, but it smelled like a tin of sardines. Then over the sea they went cruising, and Jonah were filled with delight. With his eye to the blowhole in Grampus's head, he watched ships that passed in the night. "I'm tired of watching," said Jonah. "I'll rest for a minute or so." "I'm afraid you won't find your bed very soft," said the Grampus. "I've got a hard row." At that moment up came the whaleboat. Said Jonah, "What's this here we struck?" "They're after my blubber," the Grampus replied. "You'd better hold tight while I duck." The water came in through the spile, and hit Jonah's face a real slosher. He said, "Shut your blowhole," and Grampus replied, "I can't, lad, it needs a new washer." And Jonah tried hard to bail out the water, but found all his efforts in vain. For as fast as he emptied the slops out through the gills, they came in through blowhole again. When at finish they came to the surface, Jonah took a look out, and he saw they were stuck on a bit of a sandbank that lay one rod, pole, or perch from the shore. Said the Grampus, "We're in shallow water. I've brought you as far as I may. If you sit on the blowhole on top of my head, I'll spout you the rest of the way." So Jonah obeyed these instructions, and the Grampus his lungs did expand, then blew out a fountain that lifted Joe up and carried him safely to land. There was tears in their eyes when they parted, and each blew a kiss, a real big un. Then the Grampus went off with a swish of its tail, and Jonah walked back home to Wigan. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Jonah and the Grampus by Marriot Edgar.